The piece I'm making is called Constellations, and I'm using a piece of music by Sam Perkin called Nimbus. The idea for the piece started out with something around trying to capture one moment from many different perspectives. I think I'm quite influenced by that Nick Payne play Constellations, which just was looking at a life in different moments in time, and this kind of sense of parallel universes and different versions of yourself happening in different places. And somehow I've always been really interested in that idea, kind of multiple selves. And I also liked the idea of kind of playing with, I suppose, something kind of a bit more expanding out into the universe, or something bigger. I like to work a lot with space and kind of imagined space in movement, but actually the idea of space itself actually really frightens me, like out in space. So I was kind of just in this thing of trying to look at what it was about that, like what is that kind of, that emotional feeling I get in a real kind of expanse or a vastness. I find it kind of a moving place somehow, a lonely place. So I was looking at that around the piece. I think that's kind of the image that's been going around in my head for the piece. And also it's quite a big cast of dancers, and the score kind of really sort of swells and kind of gets small, and like it does a lot in a sense. And so I wanted to have this sense of like kind of expanding and contracting, and like large groups of people and then down to one. And yeah, I guess it is that sense also of a kind of, with CHORA, we're looking at this sort of these in-between spaces, these spaces that are both and something. So there isn't just one thing. It has many different possibilities. And yeah, like we've been working on it for the last couple of weeks. I had a little bit of time. I had some time at the end of last year, and the piece is kind of slowly developing. We've reached a point now where we have a good draft of it. I think actually what I'm finding is just this connection with the music, and how to have a relationship with music. Each time people come into contact with each other, everything changes again and again. And I know it's a bit of a cliche that life is change, and I think there's something about that in the piece. And in terms of, like, there are motifs, there's kind of like contact motifs, kind of hugging motifs. Also trying to find space in something that's really quite rich and full. So I think I'm kind of looking for this CHORA space inside everything together. And it's challenging, it's hard to find it, because, music and dance, they kind of just roll into each other, and then it all can become a lot very quickly. So I'm just trying to whittle things away, chip away at it, and find what is the center of the work. But like itself, like it's going to be quite dramatically set, maybe kind of industrial, like sort of like a waiting area type feeling, probably quite cold. So I'm interested, like with 𝗕𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗐 and Sinead McKenna, like we're talking about, like with light and with costume and staging, that I suppose it's all this warmth of the bodies and the warmth of them sharing this energy together. And Nimbus is also, like the score is also inspired by this kind of tangible space that you can feel between people. But I kind of want the bodies to be these warm connected beings in quite a cold space. Well, I think like choreographically, we've been working on ideas of like movement conversations, which is interesting. Like people are moving and someone is pausing to listen, and then they're moving, as in a conversation. And that's also been interesting, because we're used to every movement happening on top, and we got to read a lot we got to read a lot of them in movement at any one time. So there's been something about kind of standing back and treating it a bit as a conversation. People stop in places, and then there's times where it's like everyone's just talking together. And then I think a lot of the time the movement comes a lot from the music, going with it, going against it.